Hello. In the last two videos I've spoken at length about human consciousness, and I particularly like to bring that around to how human consciousness both develops and then moves into a state of regression in the case of Alzheimer's and dementia. Because it seems apparent that the degradation in cognitive ability in Alzheimer's is largely linked to a failure of the psycho-perceptual recall memory system, whereby basic cognition as viewed through the senses of sight, sound, touch. What else is there? You tell me. Smell and taste are affected. Not affected in the sense of a felt self, but affected in the sense of a signal processing self. That the ability of somebody in their later years to recall events is structured such as they have terms cited such as memory loss or thought insertion or whatever other so-called faults exist. But these really mask the basic failure of the mind and the body and the soul as one collective system, not a triad of systems, to process the thoughts, feelings and emotions and the actualization of the behavior patterns of the individual. And so what we see is that certainly when I've come across Alzheimer's dementia patients in my shop, I see that they're often surrounded with people, and there is a collective disorder among their peers. Nobody knows how to interact with the individual who's been diagnosed with Alzheimer's. It's very sad that it is diagnosed. But the process by which people either recover, prevent, partially recover, or find alternative coping strategies isn't well drafted, mainly it seems to me because the whole profession of caring and treatment is built up about an old archaic function which don't understand the signal processing and the recall and memory aspects of cognitive performance and cognitive affective behavior structures. And I think we need to move away from that. We need to acknowledge that it is the mind, the body and the soul as one entity, not as three entities that are falling apart. We have a disintegration, not so much a disconnection, but a disassociation between the individual's constructs within the thinking person, the feeling person, the emotive person. And as I've spoken previously in my other lectures, human consciousness is a spatio-temporal affective structure that emotions and feelings and thoughts can be viewed in a rather narrow sense as a process of quanta interactions with the mind and the mind and the body and the soul through the collective thinking thought process, through the collective feeling, touch, emotion process. And this needs to be recognized, because only once we know that and recognize that is that we can see a way forward. Now, I have no cure. I really don't have any idea of a solution, but I do know that we need to think differently. But our thinking is structured in a rather primitive, what I call a primordial brain structure. And we need to move forward, and maybe over the course of the next few months, few years, I will endeavour to structure something. I'd like to put forward some ideas from the Reverend, not that I'm particularly Christian, he says with a Christian Catholic lilt, the Reverend Dr. Lin, and see if we can formulate a better structure for organising our systems of cognitive interpretation. That'll be me. Bye for now.